Welcome to the Discourse Analyzer AI Toolkit, where articles come alive. You're listening to the audio version of our article. For the full text and an interactive experience, check out the link in the description below. Interact with any selection using our AI assistant to enhance your understanding. Let's explore.
Workplace interactions in discourse analysis. Interactive assistant workplace interactions refer to the verbal and nonverbal communication that occurs between individuals in professional environments. These interactions can take place in various forms, such as meetings, emails, casual conversations, and formal presentations. In discourse analysis, workplace interactions are examined to understand how language reflects and constructs organizational roles, power dynamics, collaboration, and workplace culture. Communication in the workplace is often influenced by hierarchical structures, organizational goals, and professional norms, and it plays a central role in shaping employee relationships, decision-making processes, and task management. Discourse analysis of workplace interactions focuses on how language is used to achieve professional goals, negotiate authority, manage conflict, and create a sense of teamwork and shared identity. By analyzing workplace communication, researchers can uncover the implicit norms, power relations, and ideologies that shape how employees communicate, collaborate, and navigate their professional roles. Key features of workplace interactions in discourse analysis. 1. Power dynamics and hierarchy. Workplace communication often reflects the hierarchical structure of the organization, with managers, supervisors, and executives holding more authority over communication than subordinates. Discourse analysis examines how language is used to assert, reinforce, or challenge power relations within these hierarchies. Example: in a team meeting, a manager might say, "I'd like everyone to focus on this project as a priority," using directive language to assert authority over the team. Discourse analysis would explore how this language reinforces the manager's power and how employees respond, whether with compliance, questions, or resistance. 2. Politeness strategies and professional etiquette. In professional settings, employees often use politeness strategies to maintain positive relationships, avoid conflict, and show respect for authority. Discourse analysis investigates how politeness is used in workplace interactions, particularly in emails, meetings, and collaborative work. Example: an employee might write in an email, "If it's not too much trouble, could you review this document by Friday?" Discourse analysis would explore how this polite request mitigates the imposition on the recipient, softening the directive and promoting a tone of cooperation. 3. Collaboration and teamwork. Workplace interactions frequently involve collaborative communication aimed at solving problems, completing tasks, or brainstorming ideas. Discourse analysis looks at how language fosters collaboration, how ideas are exchanged, and how participants co-construct knowledge in group settings. Example: in a brainstorming session, team members might say, "Let's try building on Sarah's idea," showing how language is used to include others, create joint ownership of ideas, and facilitate the development of solutions. Discourse analysis would examine how such language promotes inclusivity and teamwork. 4. Conflict and negotiation. Workplace interactions sometimes involve conflict or negotiation, where language is used to manage disagreements, resolve disputes, or negotiate responsibilities and expectations. Discourse analysis focuses on how participants use language to assert their positions, challenge others, or find compromises. Example: in a disagreement over project deadlines, one employee might say, "I don't think it's realistic to finish this by next week. Can we extend the deadline?" Discourse analysis would explore how the employee's language frames the issue as a negotiation, balancing assertiveness with the need to maintain professional relationships. 5. Directive language and task management. Managers and supervisors frequently use directive language to assign tasks, give instructions, and ensure that work is completed according to organizational goals. Discourse analysis examines how this language reflects authority and how subordinates respond to directives. Example: a supervisor might say, "Please submit the report by the end of the day," using a polite directive to request task completion. Discourse analysis would investigate how the directive asserts authority while maintaining professionalism and how employees navigate these requests, either complying directly or negotiating timelines. 6. Identity construction and role negotiation. Workplace interactions often involve the construction of professional identities and the negotiation of roles. Discourse analysis explores how individuals use language to construct themselves as competent, collaborative, or authoritative, and how these roles are negotiated in interactions with colleagues. Example: in a project update meeting, an employee might say, "I've completed the initial analysis and am ready to move on to the next phase," signaling competence and readiness to take on more responsibility. Discourse analysis would explore how this self-presentation contributes to the employee's professional identity and how colleagues respond to reinforce or challenge that identity. 7. Gender and language in the workplace. Language in workplace interactions can also reflect gender dynamics, where men and women may use language differently or be perceived differently based on their communication styles. Discourse analysis examines how gendered language affects authority, collaboration, and power relations in professional settings. Example: in a mixed-gender meeting, a female employee might say, "I think we should consider this approach," while a male colleague asserts, "This is the approach we need to take." Discourse analysis would investigate how the differing levels of assertiveness are received and how gender influences perceptions of authority and expertise. Methods for analyzing workplace interactions in discourse. 1. Critical discourse analysis, CDA. Critical discourse analysis, CDA, is used to explore how power, ideology, and social inequalities are embedded in workplace communication. CDA examines how language in the workplace reinforces or challenges hierarchical structures, social norms, and corporate ideologies. Example: a CDA of company meetings might reveal how management consistently uses language that emphasizes productivity and efficiency, while employee concerns about work-life balance are downplayed or ignored. The analysis would focus on how these power dynamics shape organizational priorities and employee well-being. 2. Conversation analysis. Conversation analysis focuses on the structure of workplace interactions, examining turn-taking, interruptions, and the flow of dialogue in meetings, calls, or casual conversations. This method helps to understand how participants manage their contributions and navigate communication in professional settings. Example: in a meeting, conversation analysis might examine how certain employees dominate the conversation while others are interrupted or ignored. The analysis would explore how these interaction patterns reflect workplace hierarchies and how they affect participation and decision-making. 3. Frame analysis. Frame analysis investigates how workplace interactions are framed by participants, particularly in relation to task management, collaboration, or conflict resolution. This method focuses on how individuals frame their contributions or the situation to shape the outcome of the interaction. Example: in a performance review, a manager might frame feedback as constructive suggestions for growth, rather than criticism. Frame analysis would explore how the manager's language shifts the focus to personal development, potentially softening the impact of negative feedback and aligning it with company values of professional growth. 4. Genre analysis. Genre analysis examines the different types of communication in the workplace, such as emails, reports, meetings, and presentations, and how these genres follow specific conventions and structures. This method helps to understand how workplace communication is shaped by institutional norms and practices. Example: a corporate email about a policy change might follow a standard format: introduction, explanation of the change, and next steps. Genre analysis would explore how this structure reflects the organization's communication style and how language is used to guide employee responses and actions. Examples of workplace interactions in discourse analysis. Example 1. Manager-employee feedback in performance reviews. In a performance review, a manager might say, "You've shown great improvement in your leadership skills, but I'd like to see more attention to detail in your reports." Discourse analysis would focus on how the manager balances praise with constructive criticism, using language that frames the feedback as developmental rather than punitive. Example 2. Conflict resolution in team meetings. During a team meeting, One employee might say, "I understand your concerns, but I think we need to stick to the original plan," attempting to resolve a conflict over project direction. Discourse analysis would examine how the employee uses language to acknowledge the opposing view while maintaining their position, contributing to the negotiation of consensus. Example 3. Directive language in emails. A supervisor might send an email that reads, "Please make sure to complete the training module by the end of the week." Discourse analysis would investigate how the supervisor's language asserts authority while maintaining a professional and polite tone, reflecting both hierarchy and workplace etiquette. Example 4. Collaboration in brainstorming sessions. In a brainstorming session, one participant might say, "That's a great idea. Let's build on that by considering how we could apply it to our next campaign." Discourse analysis would explore how this language promotes collaboration, validates the contribution of others, and fosters a sense of teamwork in generating new ideas. Example 5. Gendered communication in presentations. In a corporate presentation, a female presenter might use more hedging language like, "I'm not sure if this is the right direction, but we could consider this approach," while a male colleague presents more assertively, saying, "This is the best way to move forward." Discourse analysis would examine how gender influences communication styles and how these styles are perceived differently by the audience, potentially affecting professional outcomes. Challenges in analyzing workplace interactions through discourse. 1. Power imbalances. Workplace interactions often involve significant power imbalances, particularly between managers and subordinates. Discourse analysts must be sensitive to how these power dynamics influence communication and decision-making processes. 2. Professional norms and etiquette. Workplace communication is often governed by professional norms and etiquette, which can mask underlying tensions or conflicts. Discourse analysts must navigate the formal and polite language of the workplace to uncover the real dynamics at play in interactions. 3. Multimodal communication. Workplace interactions are increasingly multimodal, involving not only spoken language but also written communication, e.g., emails, reports, and digital communication, e.g., video calls, instant messaging. Discourse analysts must account for how these different modes of communication interact and influence workplace discourse. Conclusion. Workplace interactions are a crucial area of discourse analysis, offering insights into how language shapes organizational culture, power dynamics, collaboration, and professional identity. By examining politeness strategies, directive language, conflict resolution, and identity construction, discourse analysis reveals the complex ways in which language is used to achieve professional goals, manage relationships, and navigate hierarchy in the workplace. Whether analyzing emails, meetings, or casual conversations, discourse analysis uncovers the underlying structures and norms that govern workplace communication, providing a deeper understanding of how language functions in professional environments. Through this lens, researchers and professionals can gain insights into how communication practices influence organizational effectiveness, employee relations, and workplace culture. Frequently asked questions. What are workplace interactions in discourse analysis? Workplace interactions refer to communication among individuals in professional settings, such as meetings, emails, presentations, and informal conversations. Discourse analysis of these interactions focuses on how language reflects and shapes organizational roles, power dynamics, collaboration, and culture. Why is discourse analysis of workplace communication important? Analyzing workplace discourse helps to understand how language influences power structures, decision-making, conflict resolution, and the development of workplace culture. It provides insights into how employees use language to navigate authority, establish roles, and promote teamwork. What key features are analyzed in workplace discourse? Power dynamics, how language reflects and reinforces organizational hierarchies. Politeness and etiquette, strategies used to maintain professional relationships and mitigate conflict. Collaboration, how language fosters teamwork and the co-construction of ideas. Conflict and negotiation, the ways participants use language to manage disagreements and reach solutions. Directive language, how authority figures assign tasks and set expectations. Identity construction, How employees present themselves as competent, authoritative, or cooperative. Gender and language. Differences in communication styles and their impact on workplace interactions. How do power dynamics manifest in workplace discourse? Power dynamics are often evident in the way managers and subordinates communicate. For example, a manager might use directive language like, "This task needs to be completed today," asserting their authority. Discourse analysis would explore how such language reinforces the hierarchical relationship between the manager and employees. What are politeness strategies in workplace communication? Politeness strategies involve using language to show respect, reduce conflict, and maintain harmonious relationships. For instance, an employee might write, "Could you please review this when you have a moment?" to soften a request and promote cooperation. Discourse analysis would look at how politeness shapes interactions and reflects workplace norms. How is collaboration analyzed in workplace settings? Collaboration in the workplace can be observed in meetings or brainstorming sessions where employees build on each other's ideas. Phrases like, "I like that suggestion," "What if we also consider," indicate inclusive language that encourages participation. Discourse analysis examines these interactions to understand how language fosters a sense of teamwork. How does discourse analysis address conflict and negotiation? Discourse analysis investigates how language is used to manage workplace conflict, such as an employee saying, "I think we need to revisit the deadline to ensure quality," which frames the issue as a negotiation. This analysis focuses on balancing assertiveness with relationship maintenance and how participants achieve compromise or consensus. How is identity constructed through workplace communication? Employees use language to position themselves within the workplace, such as an employee stating, "I've completed the analysis and am ready for the next step," which signals competence and initiative. Discourse analysis would explore how these self-presentations contribute to identity construction and professional development. What methods are used to analyze workplace interactions? Critical discourse analysis, CDA, examines how language reflects power and ideologies. Conversation analysis looks at the structure of interactions, turn-taking, and interruptions. Frame analysis studies how workplace scenarios are framed in discussions. Genre analysis analyzes the conventions of workplace communication, like emails or reports. How do gender dynamics affect workplace communication? Gendered communication may result in different perceptions of authority and expertise. For example, women might use more hedging language, such as, "I think we could consider," whereas men might use more assertive phrases, like, "We should do this." Discourse analysis investigates how these differences impact workplace dynamics and professional outcomes. What challenges are faced when analyzing workplace discourse? Power imbalances, navigating the influence of hierarchical structures on communication. Professional norms, identifying the underlying meanings beneath polite or formal language. Multimodal communication, considering spoken, written, and digital modes of communication within the analysis.